Feels like it's been
Da,
pretty
da, da,
solid
da.
tonight overall.
Radiant
All right.
team ban. Dire
One,
team ban.
2,
See how many
3.
wins. Uh-oh.
Radiant team ban. Dire team ban.
4 out of 9 wins so far.
Not bad.
About 50-50 if Omega wins this one. Well, it will be 50-50. And Neon, they're going the Abaddon in response to it, realizing that, well, if everyone's going to pick line anyway, we may as well get the instant dispel with the Aphotic
10
Shield. But they're
seconds
going back to a
remaining.
bit more of their draft that we saw at the Singapore Major. We're seeing
5
Leshrac
seconds
combined together
remaining.
with the Abaddon, just constantly able to throw the Disco Pony into the
Radiant
front
team
lines,
ban.
give him a lot of heals, and get him to soak up a lot of the damage for you while still doing damage yourself.
Radiant
So
team
I don't
pick.
mind it. It was
Dire
Death that
team
was
pick.
playing the Leshrac a lot of the time, so we'll see if CTM wants to play it for them, or if it'll be Yopaj
Radiant
playing it in the mid
team
lane.
pick.
Warlock.
It's a lot of early cores getting picked up here for Neon. Lesh, Morphling. Are you surprised that the Morphling's getting picked up right now?
10 seconds remaining.
Let me think. Let me think about why they might be wanting to do that.
5 seconds remaining.
I suppose you can go this like aggressive build, right, with the E-Blade yourselves if you want to try and deal with the putting a lot of magic damage in super early on. You've already got the Leshrac that's going to do that. It's going to be ahead of a lot of these BKB timings that are come out for
10
Omega, and then you've still
remaining.
got the damage potential to be able to take down towers through the Leshrac and now the Dragon Knight. So I think it's okay. You're not really wanting to go into a super early Manta style because you're against a Lion. He's just going to quickly be able to delete both of those illusions. So I don't mind it. I just wonder how Omega's
Dire
going to follow up
team
into
back.
this. Is it a tiny
Ursa
burst?
warrior.
Okay. Well, because this feels like it's going to be a CTM DK, right? I don't
Radiant
know how
team
strong. We don't really see too many offlane Leshracs. I feel like you might have to now with the Ursa getting picked up because you don't want to lane the DK into that and having a ranged matchup.
I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be. Like, I think honestly they were always doing it. Like this is how they ran things at the major, is that they would do the offlane Leshrac instead. And now particularly with the Ursa being picked up, I feel like it's just so much more logical to do that. We saw
5
Yopaj
seconds
just perfectly
remaining.
capable of playing the
Dire
Dragon Knight.
team ban.
So I think now they're just looking to get rid of some of perhaps the better matchups against the DK in the mid lane. Is Viper gone already? No, not yet. So it wouldn't surprise me to see that one go next. But yeah, with the Ursa, like even just against the Leshrac and a Morphling in a single team fight, it's going to be
10
quite hard
seconds
for him to lock
remaining.
in onto them. Lesh very fast, builds for a
Radiant
lot of
team
mobility,
ban.
and you don't have a huge amount of stuff that's going to lock you down. And hell, even if you do, you've got the Abaddon to be able to, toss the Aphotic Shield onto you. So I think it'd be a big mistake to run the DK into the Ursa when you've got this good laning matchup already.
Dire team pick.
DP's fine as well with the ban.
Are we feeling like Omega need a little bit more stuns just to enable the Ursa so he doesn't get kited as heavily then?
What stun are you going to really have from that mid lane is the question.
10 seconds remaining.
Puck's still in the pool, but then
Yeah,
5
it's like
seconds
I've
remaining.
just talked about the DK mid,
Yeah.
right? So
Radiant team pick.
Lena.
there's
Okay.
your mid.
gives you damage. It felt like last game the damage just was a bit lackluster, but you felt like they had it. I don't know. There was just a bit of an issue, and I think Neon played that
10
game really well.
seconds
But
remaining.
now you've got a way to burst through the Dragon Knight. A lot of
5 seconds
constant
remaining.
AoE spell damage getting chucked out from afar with the Warlock. And you don't really have to worry too much about your positioning because, DK is going to have Blink, maybe Morphling can waveform in and shotgun you down, but it feels like this is a game where Lena's not
Slaughter.
as
Choose your
worried.
hero.
This is a support Lash? Yes,
It
it is.
Wow.
Something a little different.
Hmm.
I mean, the Slaughter into the Ursa's kind of alright. Okay, that changes things up completely about how I thought Neon might take this game. I thought maybe it would be a core Lash that I mean, Alina just hates being run at, you know, and it would be a Lesh that builds something like an Eternal Shroud. You soak up a lot of the magic damage because, I mean, have a look at it. All the damage is basically magical for the first little bit outside of the Ursa. So with the core farm that you're able to get, you can just run on in. You've still got the Aphotic Shield for the save potential, but now he's going to be playing a bit more of that roaming style.
10 seconds remaining.
Double stun's going to be nice. You know, you've already got just the 1 point in the Slithering Crush is all that's needed for the 1 second stun. And the slow that comes afterwards, just combo that together with the Leshrac. Hopefully, for CML's sake, he's good on his positioning like he was for most of that previous game against SMG.
Feels like it's going to be pretty hard to position though in a lane like that where you've got Slaughter, Leshrac, pretty mobile heroes that can chase you down. So is that a lane where you just have to rely on pulls? Like, how does it actually fare the Slaughter versus Ursa? Because quite often Ursa's very strong against melee matchups. That's the same with Slaughter too. So how does this one fare?
It's kind of back and forth. I feel like CML's just going to try and, like, he'll get the 1 point, of course, into the Shadow Word, but then he's going to try and leave Tino as alone as he possibly can while keeping the lane manipulated to be as close to the Dire Tower as possible. And then, yeah, you mentioned it, just trying to focus in on getting those creep pulls happening. So I want to see CML buy probably like a couple of Sentry Wards at the very start of this game, just to make sure that, you know, you're going to need to fully commit at minimum to a body block if you're going to get a camp block off. Last game of the night.
Last game of the night. How we feel? Who's going to be taking this game, Danog?
for
Probably Neon, just from pure strength of damage that they're able to output. Again, they've got save potential. Stampede's gonna be nice. And I feel like when Enryu was playing it for South Build, he was a little bit premature or not connected with his team when he was using it. So hopefully Sam H, they're on the same wavelength, so that you know, you can use it for the key spells that you're trying to avoid. I mean, there's no real big spells that you're looking to use, though. That's the thing. You can just constantly fight as this Neon lineup. The only real big thing that you're waiting for is the Elder Dragon form. And mana, I suppose.
Yaboy is my idol.
Zaboy is my idol. They were spamming out a lot yesterday, Natsumi
30
and
seconds
Genuel.
to battle.
I mean, your part,
gotta get your
everyone
money's
was getting
worth.
well. You do. They haven't been spamming out as much. Been a bit surprised. Who have they caught?
They found out here.
Poor
Yeah.
Genuel. Just got shield, but they ain't
Body
gonna do
blocks.
crap when there's 3 heroes on top of you. CML will be the first to pick up the kill of the game. He's gonna get 319 gold to his name.
The battle
we go.
begins.
They know that it's wanted. Free D1, free money. Nearly got his boots already.
What a start he
Does.
is. Warlock's loving life. 513 gold. Top of the net worth Warlock. Let's go, baby. CML's
Screenshot
like,
it. It's the first time and only time that's ever going to happen. Maybe he's waiting for... Oh, what did he buy instead? He bought something that was like 350 gold.
Magic Wand. He just sold it again, though. It's coming out.
I think
Lightstone and a
boots and-
stick.
Blightstone.
Yeah.
And a stick?
I don't...
I guess CTM is going to be using the Crush a fair amount just for the stun coming through, but...
Are you really...
See?
Is the Warlock really going to be right-clicking this lane? And is Tino actually going to be using that Blightstone minus armor as well? Like, I don't know how I feel about this.
I don't think Tino's going to be using it, but CML, you've got stronger right-click damage than a Leshrac, at least super early on. Don't let the courier die. Okay,
Jesus.
just going to micro it. Forces the body block of the creep camp off. Yeah, I thought he would be going for boots and a second sentry ward, just in case Playhard wanted to go for another block there. Got to move that Blightstone into the inventory, as he does. As long as he can keep hold of that Fairy Fire, he's just going to continue to try and trade super early on. And his positioning, just making sure to stay well away from CTM so that he's not going to suffer any kind of chain lockdown coming through. You might get hit by the Split Earth, but you're standing under your tower, you've got a few tangos, and worst comes to worst, you still got the Shadow Word.
How's his bot lane looking right now for Dire? Shanks on the line. Already seen what Shanks can do on a hero like that. Making consistent amount of plays, so that could be something to fear for the side of Neon at least. And you know, got to keep in mind they did get first blood as well. Maybe that little bit of experience helping out. Meanwhile, mid as well. Yopaj has got 2 points in Dragon's Blood, so he should be able to have enough sustain to survive the lane.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can see here, Ken. I like it. You've gone into the Dragon Slave. I haven't seen anywhere near enough Lina, especially against these lineups that lack a quick way to catch. I was thinking maybe the Leshrac would have been that, go in early Yules and, you know, then chase down, but it's a pause 4. He might be able to catch out CML here. He's at least going to get off the Shadow Word, but is it going to be enough? Tries to have the Creep Wave soak up some of the damage.
Oh, actually might keep him alive, especially with Tino coming over. You know, just gotta be careful how much damage he does end up taking from the Slaughter, but it's only level 2 just yet. Slaughter's power spike really comes in every second level, and we're able to pick up.
Need to hit CTM here. They're linked up.
Both really low. And this is the nice thing about the Warlock, though, that sustain that you're able to provide your position 1 for the lane. Shadow Word plus any tangos you dish out means that Tino doesn't have to delve too far into his own resources.
Able to use it all for the offensive potential. Leshrac, of course, only a pos 4, so he's forced to walk all the way back to base. And with all that, unlucky for CML. He got the terrible creep camp, so it's not going to do too much for the lane equilibrium. If anything, it's just going to force it even further into Neon's side of the lane. So he's going to be very happy with that. Although we'll try for the double pull. Let's see if he's able to get it off. Oh, I don't know if...
Oh, wow. Okay. You don't really see the double pull too often anymore with how just supports and enemy offlaners are really aware of being able to counter that. And often the ward positioning bot lane. Abaddon falling really low. They're going to have to hoof stomp back up in a couple of seconds, but Zhao's movement speed 325 without boots here for the Abaddon.
Nicely done. CML's still going to be just fine. He's level 3 now, so he's got the 2 points in the Shadow Word. He was able to give most of the experience over to Tino, and even enabling him to move his way on forward with use of that 25 HP per second. And here, just nuking down the creep waves.
Money to burn.
How do we feel like this mid matchup is going to fare in the next couple of minutes? Do we think that Ken's just going to try and shove out the lane and prevent Yopaj from popping that ultimate on the mid tier 1 tower, and then it'll kind of force Yopaj to play the side lanes with that ulti then, or?
Yeah, that's much more of the goal. I mean, a Warlock's never going to rotate, or at least not going to rotate and have a huge impact. So you're not quite as worried about that. But with Zhao rotating through, if you go for any super deep dives, you've got to be guaranteed that it's going to pay off. He's got the Laguna Blade now, but with all of this shoving out, even with all of the bounty runes and water runes that are coming through, and he's still lacking a little bit on you know, being able to constantly put it into the DK. So kind of similar to the Puck, the Dragon's Blood. He's doing a good job of making sure he stays sustainable in the lane. Level 6 as well. Got the siege creep there, but you'll have the Lina joining back into the lane pretty shortly. And the bottle and the soul ring. He just wants to be an ever-present presence on the map. I mean, you think you're harassing him, Ken, but yeah, he's just going to be healthy in no time at all. Meanwhile, you've burned about a quarter of your mana. You've got Shanks here rotating through towards the bottom power rune, but Ken's going to go there anyway. Shanks just covering the fact that, you know, didn't want to make sure the bounty rune was sniped as well.
Okay, CTM solo up top, but what do you do when you've got no stuns versus Slaughter who moves 400 movement speed? It's nothing. And he actually might get the kill on CML. Got a bash charged up, but Tino... It's the angry fuzzy bear just least being a bit of a guardian here for the Warlock. I say that. Nice two-man
stun.
crush. And this time, when you're able to lock in Tino, at least it will prevent him from having his own rebuttal and kind of pushing back the Slardar there with his own Fury Swipe stacking up. So they're able to get their first kill of the game here for Neon. Very nice jump.
And a big part of that is kind of why I was a little about the Ursa, just because, sure, it's nice into the DK, but you're going to have trouble catching people in all of these team fights. You've just seen how the Slardar's tough to catch, Leshrac, very high, fast base movement speed, and he's got his boots, I believe, coming out to him now, so even harder to catch. Morphling just going to be able to waveform away. If you ever do lock them down, you've got Zhao to be able to save with that aphotic shield, so yeah, I don't know. I feel like this Ursa is just going to be walking around like a headless chicken in a lot of these team fights. You've got the rotation coming through. If they can catch CML, this would be real nice. And it's a guarantee.
Slippery when
Very, very important pick-off for them. Bringing down CTM. Ken as well.
Dire's middle tower
They
is
need it.
under attack.
Ken doesn't have a TP, actually. That's a bit of a mistake
Dire's structures
when you make
are
that
fortified.
rotation. So now they're actually forced to pop
Radiant's
Glyph
top
here.
tower is under attack.
Yopaj,
Dire's
I
middle
love the
tower
positioning
is
from
under
Genuel.
attack.
Like, he doesn't really need to play in the Morphlings lane down bot. So you're just sitting behind your DK who's looking to get a little bit aggressive on that tier 1 tower. And then once the Elder Dragon form expires, and it's going to free up Genuel for whatever he wants to do.
Covering both runes, it should cost play hard his life with the... not even needing the Laguna Blade, okay.
Dire's
the chain
middle
lockdown.
tower is under attack.
Gets the haste as well on your cards, which is quite nice. He's going to try and make the most use out of the rest of this Elder Dragon form. That's an easy kill. Soaking up the damage as well. He knows that he's a DK, he's very tanky, wanting to make sure that Dragon form
Dire's
getting the big
middle
usage
tower
out of it.
is under attack.
They still have Heroes be nearby, but I like the TP in from Sam H. You got 1600 HP already. You're just going to stand your ground and be that
Radiant
guardian of the
stand.
mid tower. That's what you look to try and do. Because Ken can shove it out as best as he can, but you're always susceptible to a wraparound maneuver. With how squishy you are, you can easily get brought down. And Sam H, he can just push it out
Radiant's middle
pretty much
tower
with
is
ease too.
under
Take a
attack.
look at the stacks though from Radiant. They even got a double bounty there, double ancient stack, a fat. Is that a quad or
Radiant's middle
a
tower
5
is
stack
under
even?
attack.
What's? It's a fatty.
looking real nice, and
Yeah.
that chip vest is giving them some real value. It's going to be like they need to rally around Sam H right now. He's got the Ring of Health coming through him, so that's a completed Hood of Defiance, plus Vanguard, plus Bracer, plus Boots of Speed at the 9.5 minute mark. He's going to be so hard to kill. You are lacking damage right now on Neon, unless you can get that Corrosive Haze in onto him.
Radiant structures are fortified.
That's exactly who they're TPing in towards this mid
Radiant's
lane.
bottom tower is
Be
under
able to catch
attack.
him.
Sam H. Any more bash hits required? One more actually would have been for the proc there, but see, Sam H has got the backup.
Radiant's
CML
bottom tower
3
is
points in
under
the Shadow
attack.
Word, so it is a lot of bonus health to be able to help out and protect him. And we might see the aggression move towards top though. Tino's going to try and get rid of the creep wave before Radiant get there fast enough to connect with the Elder Dragon form, but Tino's in trouble. He's got phase boots, movement speed. He's actually
Turn
going
this
to
around.
play hard. Very nicely done from
Dire's
Tino. Great
top tower is
awareness.
under attack. Radiant's
about
middle
it.
tower is under attack.
Just goes to show that you can't make those dies, you know, as a core. Leshrac probably, but not so much as this support, who really only has the Boots of Speed available. Picks up the infused raindrops, basically get a pseudo Hood of
Dire's top
Defiance
tower
for the
is
support.
under attack. Radiant's bottom tower.
You're at least
has
able to
fallen.
get that reactionary TP on the bot side. And what is this? A smoke coming through here between Shanks and Kent? No, neither of them have it. So I'm just going to look to shove out this lane
Dire's
one
top
more time.
tower is
He's got his
fallen.
Yule Scepter as well now. So who's running?
In the river. Sam H Stampede. On top of CTM, Shanks. He's got the Finger of Death if the damage is going to be enough. They even chopped the rock as well just to hold back Natsumi. But great positioning from Sam H, posturing in front of his support, so it's going to make it very
Dire's
difficult for
top tower
Neon to
is
bring
under
down those
attack.
easy squishy targets instead of the Centaur with 1900 HP.
Yeah. Use the Laguna now. sorry, the Finger of Death to be able to take out that Slardar. Very important. I'm sure they're going to look to try and transition that into maybe a tower on the top side of the map. You always want to take away the ability to TP back in to defend a Roshan. Of course, you've got an Ursa, you've got a Centaur. There's a ton of potential for that. And, well, you kind of have to take that away from Neon as well, right? You've got the Corrosive Haze to be able to quickly take down Roche if you're successful with a team fight on Neon. So let's see if they look to make a rotation up towards this top side. They're going to have to walk all the way there, though. No tower to TP2 anymore.
Good lane.
Looking very close to... Oh.
Onto Centaur here is the magic damage. Oh, right, 3-man stun. Sam H.
They've even got the salve for him. He's going to be able to stand, turn right on around. Ton of HP regen even without that salve available.
Blink forward.
Oh, going into the back
oh,
line's
that's
nice.
a great blink. Straight behind the Centaur. He doesn't have the backup though. Once again, Sam H is posturing. Means that Natsumi play hard. Can't get on top of the Warlock. And can he burst through play hard? This is just either team recognizing like Yopaj's great blink, but he's the only one with that mobility at the moment to follow up. And this is what you got to do from someone like a Centaur. Again, you Hood, Vanguard, how you're positioning in front of your squishy supports is just, it's perfect.
A few big team fight wins means that Sam H is already closing in on that blink dagger. It feels like only about a couple of minutes ago that he was on 0 gold, having just picked up that Hood of Defiance. Now he's only 600 away from the blink. And yeah, it does feel like they're lacking damage. Good target prioritization right now on Omega's side to be able to take out the Leshrac. He's the one dishing out all the damage right now. So maybe Jiao could play a little closer to play hard, try and save him more. He's a support at the end of the day, but the damage isn't coming from anywhere else. You've only got a blink on this DK. Slardar has a Midas, so neither of them are doing anything right now. It'll cost Shanks his life, but it really feels like a support's all you can kill at this stage.
Yeah, is that what you want as well? Like, you smoked up for that. Meanwhile, look at where Sahamic is just hitting creeps behind the remnants of Radiant's tier 1 tower. They might actually stampede for this. Actually, the rest of the team are a bit too split here. But they're going to go into Roche.
Kind of, yeah, he's playing the distraction plays right now. They don't have vision of that, I don't believe. They didn't walk close enough to the pit that the Observer Ward on the high ground was able to catch that one out. Sam H doesn't run on into it. Will they look to use any kind of scan? I don't think they have one available, but Playhard and Yopaj, they kind of sense that it might be going on. Not quickly enough, though.
Roche picked up Sam H. He's got the backup. They're going to be careful. They group up. Fatal Bond's Rock going to get dropped as well. Tino melts through play hard now with the Stampede. They'll close the distance on Yopaj. CTM going to try and sprint away, but a quick use of the Yule Scepter prevents a disengage from the Slardar. They'll end up losing 2. They're looking to try and catch more. Tino does have the Diffusal Blade, but he will not close the distance. So instead, they'll just take an Ancient Stack. They might try and lead this into some objectives. Sam H already Hood, Vanguard, Blink completed, top of the net worth on your Centaur. And it feels like
they've been able to spot out Jiao as well. He's standing underneath his tower, so this might be a little bit of a bait trying to get them to go in, considering they have the vision on the high ground, but it still just comes back to the damage. Playhard doesn't have much of anything right now. Sam H, you can see he just runs right on under the tower.
You take a look at the item build from Radiant, like Slardar went into a Midas, so it makes me feel like he's looking to really scale this game, but I feel like Dire late game actually feels a bit stronger. Their team fight, a lot of Fatal Bond's capability, it really comes down to if Radiant can burst through the supports and then start to kite the Dire heroes throughout the late game.
They only just realized that there was vision up here the entire time, so that smoke is going to be useless as it immediately gets scouted out there. Still, they're going to look to take the tier 1 tower on the top side of the map. Any TP is going to come through to mid. The tower's not the healthiest, and they've got vision of the Centaur TP. If they go in instantly, he's not going to have the backup.
Might be a bit too late here. Finally, Sam H, the tanky offlane, is going to fall, and they're going to look to punish now. That's the Guardian that's been protecting the squishy backline heroes. So it'll give Neon a big opportunity to push forward for more kills. They're going to run into CML and Shanks. Blink forward, Yopaj, is there any punishment coming through? And LSA only stuns at 1. The extra lockdown will come through from the rest of Neon. So they get a couple quick kills. They're also going to force the glyph out of mid.
is under attack.
Such a small mistake as well, just the positioning of where he TP'd into. I'm sure he might have just pressed on the minimap, you know, towards the right of the tower, but that's exactly where Neon were waiting. If he clicked towards the back, I don't think they make that dive because, you know, you're diving into the unknown. It was nighttime. They didn't know who was there at the tier 2 tower to potentially go for the save.
Tino? What are you doing there? He's actually setting up a bait.
Double damage.
Trying to spring on top of Radiant out of nowhere.
He's got the Blink Dagger. He's certainly got the capabilities of doing that. Double damage. Ken acting as a bit of bait himself. I don't think he needs to worry about all that much, at least until this Slardar's got his Blink. He's not going for it. He's going into the BKB. Same thing with the Yule Scepter on the Leshrac. Still a while away. So, really is Yopaj the one that you're scared about right now. But you saw that in order to get that kill onto the Centaur, he had to pop the Elder Dragon form. So, you're not all that concerned.
Natsumi has been doing a very good job to keep up in the farm this game too. He's only got 1 kill, but neck and neck with the top of the last hits chart. He's going to be working on the Skadi next after the Sanjin Yasha, so a bit of a defensive kind of tanky build here for Natsumi.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Looking to soak up a lot of the damage himself, just on the front lines. You know, he's going to go in about half and half between the strength and the Agimorph. So, in the meantime, Omega, they're keen to push their advantage. They've still got about a minute or so left on that Aegis. Force the glyph out of Neon, so no glyph on either side for now.
Dire's
If
bottom
you just
tower
stay here
is
and
under
continue to
attack.
soak it up. Range creep still alive. Do they have vision? They got decent vision. They're going to see if they rotate
Dire's
through from the
bottom
mid
tower
lane,
has fallen.
or if they look to come up onto the side.
Misfortune.
Stampede still
Pause.
available.
Dire's bottom tower
Blink
is
on
under
cooldown. Tino's getting stalked from a kobold. I like what they've done though, Omega. They backed off far enough. Oh, we got a bull whip after that. Okay, it doesn't need it. He's already got a van brace.
Dire's bottom tower is
They're
under
gonna see
attack.
Januel and Natsumi
Radiant's top
actually
tower
rotating
is under
away
attack.
from that defense of the tier 2 tower. So this should reveal that it's gonna be free from Omega. And you see the lines are drawn. Looks like they're pretty aware of that
Radiant's
Radiant are
top tower
farming
is under
on the
attack.
opposite side of the map around their own triangle. So they'll take this tier 2 for free. It's going to open up the outpost now as the Aegis does get reclaimed. They're posturing up on the higher ground. I think it's mainly
Radiant's
just to
top
force some
tower is
heroes
under
back.
attack. Dire's
Yeah,
bottom
maybe.
tower is under
Could be a
attack.
bit of a fake back going on here. I'd honestly consider continuing to commit onto that. It's still so hard for them to take out Sam H. He's got the Dragon
Radiant's
Scale
top
as well.
tower is under
You just need
attack.
to give the tower a whack here and there. The Retaliate's going to do most of the work.
Invisibility.
You force people back. You've got the Stampede to be able to escape. There's no Dream Coil. I felt like they could have tried to make a pressure move onto the tower there. Someone's going to eventually have to move
Radiant's
back to
top
deal with these
tower
creeps.
is
And
under attack.
Tino, he's got his Blink available, he's got his Scroll of TP available, but all this time of kind of delaying things out, not full on going in for the objectives, it's the same issue that plagued Omega in game number 1. Now you've got the Yule Scepter and play hard. Now he can play a little bit more aggressively, or you can catch someone out, or you know, many multitude of things that you probably shouldn't be able to do as a position for Leshrac. Also hits onto the level 10 as well, so just a bonus to the damage pension. I wonder where he's going to go from the talent side. What they caught out here is the Abba.
Jump. Ripped apart.
Take this
We,
warning to heart.
Do you feel like Morphling's gonna get E-Blade after the Skadi? Because we were kind of speaking about how important the E-Blade is to burst through these supports. Because we've seen the lack of ways to really push past the Centaur and then get on the Warlock and then get on the Lion. Do you feel like once you got these two kind of items to help tank you up, then you go back into that E-Blade?
Yeah, I think take out the Warlock particularly. Like he is the main one that I'm worried about if I'm on Neon. Shanks, he's always going to be in a much more defensive position because he's got that Blink Dagger. You never want your E-Blade combo to miss because of that. Whereas
Radiant's middle
CML, you
tower
can see
is
he's
under
going into the
attack.
Holy Locket, so he's much more vulnerable.
All in all, though, we've got a very even game at the moment. 1,000 lead for Omega. It does feel like they're the ones that are a little bit stronger at the moment, and especially with how they're posturing across the map. It's just Neon that they're still looking to try and hit these item timings where they're able to mimic the aggressive front that Omega are dishing out.
He's been able to hit up onto level 15 as well. He gets the extra agi, realizing their lack of damage right now. Another way that they can look to recover the damage is with the Morphling. If you ever do catch out this this Warlock, stealing the Fatal Bonds could be quite nice for the team fight after, you know, maybe even tossing the Shadow Word onto yourself. Enabling you to fight extra deep. You've got a decent amount of AoE damage coming through with the Leshrac. Also, just having the overpower is quite nice.
Alright, they're gonna smoke up on Neon. Natsumi was underneath the ward, so they can see that he's kind of baiting around mid. Smoke's gonna pop.
On the front lines.
It's not really the target you want to go for, especially with the two-man hoof stomp. Follow up with the rock, fatal bonds. They need to kill off the warlock, but they're not going to be able to. Now with the BKBs pop, a lot of abilities being dropped, but Radiant, their BKBs, they're actually going to retreat away. So what was a very big power spike from them, with trying to reveal the magic immunity, is not going to work out. They look to double back in the tree line, but Dire still, they've got the vision advantage. They themselves also have to be careful. Sam H out of mana. They've used the rock now as well.
Got their own BKBs though, and
they're gonna
the rock is important, but they actually do. Who are they trying to go in onto here? CML again. He's caught a little bit forward, perhaps.
You need a better target than that.
Position go down.
Like Warlock's he's still got fatal actually.
The fatal bonds is pretty good.
Yeah, it's still back up. Okay, Shanks stun. Let's get the connection. Sam H kind of pushed over the mark a little bit here. He's got blink up in 2 seconds. Can they find him? They got the vision now. Yopaj, his blink as well is up shortly.
Not in a position just yet. Still didn't end up using the morph on Natsumi. So still have that as a possible fighting potential, but that's 1 second removed on the BKBs. What's Roshan's timer? Basically around the same time that the Warlock Golem's going to be up. So Omega, they're going to be breathing a sigh of relief that hasn't quickly spawned.
Uh-oh. Omega, they're getting baited right now. Blink forward, Yopaj, BKB straight onto the backline, but now with the finger of death. CTM, nice crush, Essence ring out. Somehow the Slaughter is still alive thanks to the defensive factor of Januel. He's going to turn, get the last right click on Shanks. Now Tino, he doesn't have any backup. I mean, Sam H is getting worked to shreds here by Play Hard and Yopaj, so they can't reset. Fuel stops the spam peak to disengage, and CML, he's also running underneath vision here, so Neon, they catch a break. Ooh, CML, okay. Finally, they'll catch him. That's a great fight for Neon, just a quick movement from them, and the Observe Ward's paying off drastic here from either team, and fortunately, Roche isn't up just yet. Will be another 25 until then.
Well, the ward's paying off massively for Neon, but they did have really good vision there from Omega as well. They had it on the high ground. They've got this one on the low ground as well. So all of these different initiation points, they should have had those covered. So it's just a nice turnaround, good positioning in particular from Zhao to be able to make sure that with that BKB, you were going to survive on CTM. The Essence Ring as well coming in handy.
Hey, Zhao has picked up his first item of the game. It's always nice, a good mark to hit.
He's a selfless player, you know. It's not about him, it's about the team.
Roshan, that's the objective now.
Skadi picked up by Natsumi.
Oh, they don't have vision up there. That would have been big corridor snipe. Blink on. Oh, nice fingers with the attribute shift. They're going to try and drop the rock if they can burn the mana, but Natsumi, quick waveform away. Yopaj is back to safety. That is a lot wasted.
They got a Roche straight away.
I don't think they got time. Radiant.
Well, you never know.
Maybe, actually. They're backing off on Radiant. Okay.
They use BKBs as well.
They got to go now. A lot committed from Omega.
Radiant are scanning.
Sam H has got to stand on the front line.
CTM, blink forward. The backup's not there at the moment. CTM a little bit disconnected from the team. He goes early. Laguna will cut him down. He doesn't have a buyback, and that was a big opportunity for Neon, but Just going one step
second
too
Roche as well.
fast. Yep, Shard now on the deck, and that's going to give Tino a big power spike. Pick up that Aghanim Shard here for the Ursa. He's got that Earth Shock and Rage buff up.
A little bit of a bonus by, you know, the Warlock probably could have had his Golem out a little bit further to try and stop any kind of Blink initiation, but works out for the best for them. You know, they take out the Slardar, and Neon aren't in any position to be able to fight. So, you know, it's back and forth game.
Radiant's top
Omega
tower
showing
is
why
under
they're still
attack.
in the upper division. Solid team finishing basically in the exact same spot as Neon. This is a little bit of a rematch going on here, and it'd be kind of justice to finish as a 1-1 scoreline. That's how even they were towards the end of the season.
Tino.
Yopaj has to be careful as well. His Shadow Walk's about to wear off.
I love that play. Yopaj blinking, double crush. Tino's still going to try and look to punish here with the BKB. Where's the control? This is something we were highlighting for the Ursa. Worried that he was just going to get kited through these fights. It's a waste of a BKB, and they're looking to reset. Sam H is on the back line. He's got the blink. He's also got the Lotus Orb to protect Tino. But Yopaj is stalking. Another Shadow Blade usage. Pops on forward. Sam H cancels the blink, and now CML's going to get caught out as well. If he can get the Fatal Bonds before he dies, Lotus Orb's going to prevent it. They get rid of the Corrosive Haze. Now they're going to look to turn with the Stampede. Give CML a little bit of space. CTM will drop away from him. Natsumi, he did commit for this. Meanwhile, down to the southern side, Yopaj has to pop the BKBs. Not underneath vision just yet. Instead, they're actually going to jump on forward for Natsumi. The way forms, Xiao Nuao nearby as well, but Ken's going to get caught. Sam H with the blink. Oh, nice double stop onto 2. But Ken is still going to be careful here. They're getting kited across the map. Where's the lockdowns really coming into play? Ursa, unable to close the distance. Shank, Earthspike off the mark, but it looks like Radiant, they've dipped out of here. Happy with their losses. Unfortunately, not really getting much out of that fight, though.
Yeah, it was only CML that ended up dying, right? Oh, they got the Lion as well, but yeah, when you think about it in the grand scheme of things, all cores survive, Aegis still available, you've got a full creep wave down here already. They're looking to just continue pushing in, remove the last outer tower from the game, and
Radiant's
see here
bottom
Sam
tower
H
is
even
under attack.
taking away the outpost potential. So yeah, they were kiting him around a little bit on that Ursa, perhaps forcing the BKB a little earlier than he might have liked, considering he's got the Earth Shock. That'll give him that little bit of extra status resist from the Minion Rage.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Ken having another great game. Level 20. 5-0-1. Not a part of a huge amount of kills,
Sam
but
H, he needs
yeah,
help.
damage for sure.
Burning him down. Tina's going to jump in forward. BKB pop from Yopaj. They want to kite this BKB. Radiant got a little bit of vision with the ward getting placed. They're unable to catch the retreat of Omega. How long to the Rock?
He's back up to full.
Yeah, Rock's back up as well. Ages for another minute 40. They're
You
going
can
to
just stay. Another creep wave's coming. Would even look to dive in super deep onto the backlines here.
Yeah, it feels like Radiant need to wrap around. You can't jump the front. Sword, when do they want to go on the supports? Tino, the reveal, Shanks, counter blink as well, straight on top of the DK. Remember, his BKB got used previously. A great rock getting dropped on 2. Januel, Aphotic Shield's already on cooldown. Meanwhile, Tino jump in, Sam H as well. The lockdown play hard, so the support ledge is going to get brought down, but immediately reacting to deal with the Ursa's first life. Where's the fault? Upheaval drop, making it very difficult to commit on forward after Tino respawns, but do they want to go back in? Keep in mind, Radiant, they got vision outside the base, so they're stalking a Mega, but they've got all 5, and up they go. The tier 3 will fall.
Radiant's bottom tower
CTM
is
needs to get an angle here to start the fight, but now that it's daytime, it's going to get a little bit more difficult. Ken's got
Tino's
cheese,
still got
Scotty, they
BKB.
actually give the cheese to Tino, blink in, Sam H, attribute shift's gonna be there, CTM stunned up, Earthspike, Yopaj counter up as well with the BKB, they're controlling up the Ursa, but it's not gonna matter. A Laguna Blade rips apart CTM, he doesn't have a buyback, Natsumi's getting controlled as well, the Scotty's slow from Ken, a bash is out, he's got the protection of Januel, they're actually gonna force the buyback out of CTM, they need a reset here from Omega, Earthspike,
are under attack.
no
Nice
full-off
range.
control coming out. Shanks has still got that counter coming through. If he wants to drop the Earthspike, he's going to have to do it pretty soon, though, Tino. BKB pop that turn. Morphling, he doesn't get the attribute shift off fast enough. Natsumi get back to safety, but a cheese pop from Tino. Great use to the Aghanim shot here from Play Hard, giving them a little bit of space with that massive split Earth range.
Radiant's
5 on 5, everyone back alive here, but how long do you want to stick around? Sam H has got the Lotus. Stampede still on cooldown for 15. It's going to get controlled. You might have to leave your Centaur, and you will. It's going to get brought down. Neon need a punish for more. CML, he wants them to take him instead. Let everyone else get out. Tino needs to get out. Tino's not going to, though. BKB on cooldown for another 35. The sacrifice of Warlock was not enough. Tino, Blink still on cooldown for 5. Maybe can juke in the tree line with an Earth Shock, but they have the vision with the Corrosive Haze, and they have his head. That's a big, big kill to find. They do lose the melee racks, but Neon holds steady.
Was that a... They buy back on any heroes in that game?
Just-
in that, I feel like CTM did.
Yeah, just CTM.
Oh, that's still pretty key. Being able to turn that around. He's level 18 on the Slaughter, so certainly not slouching in terms of how much experience he's able to get. That Midas starting to pay dividends as well. But I don't think we even saw the full effect of Omega's potential there. They've finished up the Aghanim Shard on the Warlock as well. He's got the Holy Locket, so they're even in a position to get these massive turnarounds. You talk about the difficulty in being kited. Well, you're going to get that movement speed bonus coming from the Shadow Word onto the Ursa as well.
Why does it feel like Neon aren't really trying to catch the backline of Omega? Like, we saw they had that ward down. They didn't really attempt for top lane. Morphling, he's going to get caught out here. Is the status resistance going to be enough? And the Sunshine has a great positioning. Januel will keep Natsumi alive there. That is how you need your support to play. On the hip bone of your carry, it allows him to TP out. Great stuff from Zhao.
I mean, I think it was just a case of they literally just couldn't get onto the backlines. You know, your base is being sieged. It's a lot of burst damage coming through from this Ursa. Sure, you can't bash a barracks, but it's still a lot of damage that Tino's able to dish out. Were you thinking maybe, you know, looping up through mid lane, going up
I thought
for
they
a bit
were
of a backstab?
like at the very, very start when we saw when we saw Dire was starting to get set up with that push. Like, I thought they were going to wrap through, smoke up, because they had an opportunity when they placed that ward down on the low ground. That's when Dire kind of reset back up to that high ground choke point. I thought then Radiant were going to try and smoke up, loop around, because we've said the importance of dealing with the supports. This is a hefty smoke. Could really tell the tale of the next couple of minutes with who's able to win this team fight.
Oh.
Who's got the advantage? Sam H. Smoke
Oh,
pops
yeah.
on Zhao. That's not the target you want to go on. So difficult to burst with that borrowed time.
The couriers kind of gave away Neon's positioning in that, Omega's positioning in that one there. They knew they were hanging around the high ground, so not wanting to go too deep into the river. The only one that kind of gave up his life potentially was Sam H, but he's a Centaur. We've seen how hard he is to take down so far. Only the 2 deaths, despite how aggressive he's playing.
Dire are aware that they have to go back on Radiant. Like, you got mid and bot shoved in up on the higher ground, so this now gives them
And
a
Roche is up.
power position. Yep, third Roche of the game is up as well. Is that it's going to be Aghanims. So
I mean, that's extra nice for the
yeah.
for the Ursa and Rage.
Oh yeah, it
Hell,
is.
even the Centaur. I mean, he's got that queued up as his next item.
I
on
actually
Sam
think
H.
you
Why
get
not
it.
just give it over
I
to
think,
Free?
yeah, I really think you do. Because that just damage reduction to keep one hero alive so we can maybe get the abilities off. It's going to be
Can
so
they get there
important.
fast enough?
Radiant, they need a blind blink in here. Smoke's going to pop it, then they do it fast enough. Aegis, along with the Aghanims picked up Yopaj, but he doesn't have the backup of the team. He's BKB, but Sky's slow. They're going to drop the rock as well. Januo instantly with the borrowed time, but CTM, there's no extra fault. Where's the Morphling? You need your carry to get involved here from OB.Neon, but he's nowhere to be seen. As CTM's able to run away, but they're still hunting on Omega. They'll get the stun set up. The splitter too late, and it might actually cost Play Hard his life. He's stuck around, and they don't have buybacks. Neon, what a disaster for them. Januo, alright, he's back to safety, but CTM, that's a buyback death timer for him. DK's down for 40 seconds. You got Lesh as well with the same timer. It's gonna buy back. You've got the glyph for Radiant. You're gonna be forced to pop it here to hold.
Yeah, I think they're just waiting for perhaps the creeps, the siege creeps rather, to get into range, but hell, even if they had that, they've still got that AoE Shadow Word keeping everyone perfectly safe and healthy.
Top tower is under attack.
They're even setting up on Natsumi top. Blink in. Shanks. He's got Ken. Ken looking to blade still on cooldown. Needs a little bit of mana as well, but maybe with the finger death is going to be enough. So Natsumi's going to waveform forward. Wins one of the man fights. Now he'll TP out under the cover of the BKB, but is the timing going to be there? It's not. So back to safety they go. It does mean that a Mega can get that full set of racks mid. And we also see, so the Ursa, yep, he popped the Aghanim, so he's got that buff up with the reducing cooldown of the Enrage and using it while he's disabled. And we just saw Sam H also buy up the Aghanims here.
Lena pop the cheese as well, so you don't have quite as much in terms of the survivability aspect. There's a Haster in bot, which I'm sure either team would love to have right now, but again, he's just going to continue holding on to that Chrysalis as well. This is the way you love to see Lena's build. You can't go for this pure damage, pure spellcasting style. It just doesn't transition into the late game. Very nice to have the Yule Scepter to just be able to set up a few combos at the start as well as for the defensive potential. But then you got to go pure right click. Fiery Soul, fantastic at scaling.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
What's the probability looking like? 89%. Mega. Good spot for them to
I'd
be in
agree
right
with that.
now.
Getting some neutral items though. It's going to be nice. Even the leveler though, not needed from Natsumi. He's going to continue holding on to that Titan Sliver.
They're really
Play hard.
split. They're really split. You can't walk up the high ground like
Go
this.
hard.
Straight on top of play hard. One support gone. He's got no buyback. They're going to be able to jump the Abaddon as well. Januel will fall. Radiant, they just instantly got to get the lane shoved out. To mid, to top, there's nothing you can do. They're still sticking around, actually, CTM and Yopaj. No one's pushing up mid.
Well, they're going to need to. You can just walk on in. There's no reason not to. You know Play Hard had used the buyback previously. 7 deaths on this Lash Rack, which was why I was kind of... when that last pick came out, you know, it really felt like he could be that key frontliner for them when they were needing the damage in the early stages, but it just feels like, while it was a nice pickup of the Aghanim Shard to try and delay things and kind of stifle this push forward, hasn't been enough. You know, your impact has been nearly non-existent.
Radiant's top tower has
Top
fallen.
racks now open. Yopaj just going to try and force some abilities, but now he has to pop the BKB to react to Sam H's initiation, but Sam H
a lot of damage.
gets ripped apart. That's an even better rock, though. On to 3. It means that Ken can just rip them apart on the backline now with the upheaval dropped as well. Neon, they got no more BKBs to retreat on top of the backline. Bye-bye, Slaughter. Yopaj is going to get sent up, stunned back down once he falls to the low ground. 2 down, no buybacks. And Natsumi's really got to come out big here. Januel's in trouble. Borrow time on cooldown. Ken's just tearing them apart. 9-0 and 4. A godlike streak for your stand-in. Back-to-back solid games for Ken. And now it's up to them. Tino.
He's getting a little low. Might even want to die just so that he can get that full HP back in the next 25 seconds. But, you know, why not secure the Mega Creeps
Radiant's
first?
top barracks has fallen. The Dire now have mega creeps.
25 on Ken, so he's able to sit even further back, just siege from afar, already having the Dragon Lance. His courier died, but...
Wolf. Nice 2-man stun. Tino. Would you be able
Look
to
at the
kill
damage
off
from
one?
Ken.
Januel, the range with that 25 talent is through the roof. They might get rid of Tino's first life here. LSA holding back
just took only 2
Januel.
seconds.
It's all up on the Morphling at the moment. He's back in the safety of the fountain. CTM will be up in 10 seconds here. DK 15. Age is going to tick out. But the Mega Creeps slowly starting to push down the lanes. I think there's one more
ambitious.
opportunity for Neon.
I think they've had their opportunities, unfortunately.
You're a hater.
Just holding on to barely any life left and... sorry, mana left.
Let's go.
Constantly needing to...
Jump on, Yopaj, BKP pop, instantly with the burst, they'll bring him down, but he's gonna buy back if he wants to rejoin them, and he will, but the bash coming through Natsumi. Wait for more wave, BKB popped as well.
got rid of the
Tino gonna
creep.
get controlled at the moment, he's gonna be careful. He won't be able to come back as the creep getting cancelled away, now with the damage as well. Natsumi, waveform, back to safety, but Tino, he just has so much survivability with the Aghanim's buff ups straight on top of the DK. They're pump faking the abilities, and they'll force them to call quits with everyone in the grave. What a second game performance from a Mega, and they're going to be able to tie up our final best of 2 of the night.
Omega, they're getting a little bit of a habit here of going 1-1 against teams that they're relatively even against. It was a very different performance than what we saw from game number 1. You know, they seemed like they cleaned up a lot more of their execution. They were playing together very well, and like you said, another standout performance from Ken, only dying the one time. Tino as well. You know, he doesn't go Battle Fury, he doesn't go any of these super farmy items, but despite that, still has a very healthy amount of net worth pumped into him. I suppose the Aghanim's Blessing kind of helps to that, but still, at the end of the day, dealing a ton of damage. And that Diffusal Blade, it's creeping more and more into prominence, you know, especially against some of these low mana heroes like the Slardar, like the DK, and hell, even against that Leshrac, who was the one that was trying to dish out a lot of the damage in the early game. Natsumi didn't die. Natsumi didn't die that game. I suppose that's what happens when you don't actually help your team at that final deciding Roche fight, but
yeah,
still a little surprising.
I very, very impressed with Omega overall in that second game. We saw the supports impact too, their positioning, and through the early game, I must add, what the Centaur was doing, like I absolutely loved. That was vital from Sam H to TP mid and just defend the T1 tower. Like, you know, DK wants to get active, but they can jump the Lina. Like, you can wrap around. Yes, Lina can push out the wave, but you're not tanky enough to survive a couple stuns, and the TPs would take too long. So Sam H's positioning, the itemization early, what he was able to do, and how he postured to protect the supports this game was just so incredibly on point. It doesn't matter they went 2, 3, and 4 team. He did his job, enabled them to get to that late game where we saw them really start to thrive. And it was also got to the stage where then Tino was also getting involved to help protect heroes like the Lina, where we really enabled Ken to go 9, 1, and 7. Overall, just a mega. That was a great second game from them, and they're going to end up tying up our last series of the night. We are now 4 days complete here for the LootBet Pro Series Season 6 round robin. We've got 3 more days of action for the groups, which will then force us into some playoff matches. And well, we're really starting to build this storyline here. We got some pretty even teams battling it out, and it's going to be an exciting day 5 tomorrow.
I don't think it's even been officially announced yet about when some of these playoff matches might happen, because last day of the group stage, May 31st, first day of the major, June 2nd. So there's going to be a lot of Dota to watch regardless, but you never want to be the one that's like, do I have to choose which one I want to watch? You want to be able to watch everything. And I feel like there's going to be perhaps a little bit of a downtime after the major anyway. So maybe that's what we'll see. Who knows? But like you said, 3 important days left.
I think I saw it's on the 6th. I think I saw one of the mods say something like that. So I'm not sure, actually. I can
right in the middle of the major.
I can even find out real quick if you keep talking for a bit.
We'll find out, and then we'll talk about it tomorrow. How's that?
Perfect.
So you got to tune in tomorrow to be able to figure it out, And speaking of tomorrow, we've got another 4 series. The bottom of the ladder teams in South Built versus Little Gun, they'll be leading us off. OB.Neon against Little Gun as well. And then 2 banger series to end the day. Motivate Trust against the new and improved Galaxy Racer, as well as Motivate Trust against Boom. The top 3 teams in the last 2 series of the day tomorrow. So I'm keen to see how those ones shape out, as well as South Built versus Little Gun. It doesn't really matter in the big scheme of things, considering all the teams are going to go through to the lower bracket, even if they were to go winless. But it's always interesting to see if teams might try and change things up a little bit.
Okay, playoffs start June 2nd. There you go. We found that out. I was quick.
That's the major day.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a different time. Because Europe time with Southeast Asia.
Kiev to Southeast Asia isn't that different.
Is it? I'm honestly not sure. And
I'm in Kiev.
It's also starting at 11 Singapore, so it's actually pretty early.
It's only 5 hours difference. That's not that much.
It's just more Dota. A lot of Dota. A lot of Dota.
I'll be watching BTS and anything C at the major.
We love to see it. Another night done here for the LootBet Pro Series. Day 4 is now done and dusted. Like we said, tomorrow we have some incredible series here to continue off on our day 5th adventures. That being said, we will see you all tomorrow, same time for the LootBet Pro Series Season 6.